Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Composer Spotlight. Mozart is today's focus. Let's talk about the life and works of one of history's most extraordinary musical geniuses, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Even after hundreds of years, Mozart's remarkable journey as a composer and musician continues to inspire and astonish. He certainly earns the title, Mozart, the boy wonder. How did he write 600 pieces in just 30 years? If you are a homeschooler looking for ways to easily and affordably include a quality music education in your homeschool, you've come to the right place. This is the Music in Our Homeschool podcast. I'm Gina Mayo, homeschooling mom of 8 and music teacher for over 30 years. Mozart, described as sunshine by composer Antonin Dvořák, was born in 1756 in Salzburg, Austria. From a very early age, his musical abilities were evident. By age 5, he was already composing and performing, showcasing an innate talent that would later define his legacy. Listen to one piece that he wrote at the tender age of 5, the Minuet in G. By the time he was 8 in 1764, Mozart had composed his first symphony, Symphony No. 1 in E-flat major. It was composed during the Mozart family's grand tour of Europe, and this symphony reflects influences from composers such as Johann Christian Bach, the son of Johann Sebastian Bach. Despite his young age, Mozart's ability to create complex musical compositions was already astonishing. Listen to a portion of his Symphony No. 1. Mozart's prodigious talent was nurtured by his father, Leopold Mozart, a court musician who recognized and fostered his son's extraordinary abilities. The young Mozart traveled extensively across Europe, performing for nobility and aristocrats, including Empress Maria Theresa in Vienna, King Louis XV in France, and King George III in England. These tours exposed him to various musical styles and broadened his compositional skills. At the age of 11, Mozart wrote an oratorio, and by 12, he had composed his first opera. His ability to understand and create complex musical forms at such a young age is unparalleled. Mozart's upbringing among the European elite influenced his character profoundly. He grew accustomed to being pampered by kings and emperors, which later impacted his adult life. Unlike many of his contemporaries, such as the great Joseph Haydn, who thrived in the structure and environment of court positions, Mozart sought independence. At 25, he left his court position to become one of the first major freelance musicians. This decision marked a significant shift in his career, allowing him to explore new creative avenues. Mozart's prolific output included masterpieces of operas, symphonies, chamber music, and solo pieces. Some of his most famous operas include Nozze di Figaro, The Marriage of Figaro, Don Giovanni, Don Juan, and Die Zauberflöte, The Magic Flute. Each opera showcases his exceptional ability to blend drama, emotion, and musical complexity. Nozze di Figaro, The Marriage of Figaro, premiered in 1786. This opera was controversial for its time due to its depiction of servants outwitting their masters, reflecting the revolutionary sentiments spreading across Europe. If you remember, the American Revolution began in 1776 and ended in 1783. Despite the initial resistance to The Marriage of Figaro, it became one of Mozart's most beloved operas. Another masterpiece, Don Giovanni, combines comedic, tragic, and supernatural elements, demonstrating Mozart's versatility. The opera's rich characters and intricate plot continue to captivate audiences worldwide. Die Zauberflöte, The Magic Flute, was one of Mozart's final works. The Magic Flute is in German, not Italian, like the others I mentioned, and it premiered in Vienna in 1791, where Mozart conducted it. This was an opera for everyone, not just for the rich and aristocracy, as they had been previously. It's a Singspiel opera, which means that singing is interspersed with speaking. The story genre is a mysterious fairy tale, and it tells a quest by a prince to rescue a princess. The Magic Flute contains one of Mozart's most famous arias. An aria is what a solo in an opera is called, the Queen of the Night aria. Mozart wrote in every genre of the classical musical period, which lasted from about 1725 to 1800. Since he composed over 600 pieces of music, it's hard to decide what his most famous piece is, but many would say it's his Symphony No. 40, which he composed in 1788. A beautiful vocal piece of Mozart's that I love is Ave Verum Corpus. Mozart died just before he was able to complete his Requiem in D minor in 1791. A requiem is, ironically, a mass for the dead. As Mozart knew he was dying, he gave ideas to his friend Franz Xaver Süssmayr to complete the Requiem for him. There are many speculations as to what Mozart died of at the young age of 35, but we don't know for sure. Despite his genius, Mozart faced financial difficulties and died in debt. His wife Constanze later managed to secure financial stability by publishing his works. They had 6 children, and 2 sons survived to adulthood. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's extraordinary talent and prolific output have secured his place as one of history's greatest composers. His ability to balance complexity with simplicity, as well as sensibility and discipline, remains unparalleled. I hope this exploration of his life and works has deepened your appreciation for this musical genius. Thank you for joining us on this Composer Spotlight. Be sure to explore listening to Mozart's music and let his timeless compositions enrich your life. I have a link in the show notes to a Mozart Spotify playlist I created. Do you have a composer you'd like me to spotlight next? Check the show notes or the description for a link that says, click to send Gina a message and I will get that message from you. And until next time, keep the music alive.